hours ago, we did speak with the Latah County coroner. Kathy Mabbitt is calling all four deaths homicides, and that the cause of death is likely a stabbing. But we won't know that for certain until the autopsy report comes back and she can make that official ruling. Now, to take that a step further, Latah County contracts its autopsies out to the Spokane County Medical Examiner. And I confirmed this afternoon that Spokane County is in fact conducting the autopsies on the 4 University of Idaho students. Now, the Spokane County spokesperson says the medical examiner has not yet started those autopsies. Once they are done, the medical examiner will forward her recommended findings to the Latah County coroner. Then the Moscow Police Department or the Latah County coroner will release the official ruling. Now, this afternoon, when we talked to the coroner, she described a gruesome crime scene.
Well, there was a lot of blood. It was a very sad scene.
Mabbitt adds that she does not believe the toxicology report on each of the 4 University of Idaho students will be relevant to the manner or cause of death. Now, Mabbitt has been the county coroner for 16 years in Latah County. She says in that time there have been at least 2 other multiple homicide scenes that she's been involved in. But she says this current homicide investigation is the only one she's been to where there are 4 people at one scene.
Police zeroing in on the movements of 2 of the University of Idaho victims, Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin, the night they were murdered, looking specifically at the hours between 9 p.m. and 1:45 a.m. when the couple was believed to be at Ethan's fraternity.
Why are you looking for more information specifically about where Xana and Ethan were in regards to his fraternity house?
That actually seems to be one of the larger areas that we don't have a lot of information in. And so being able to locate what they did that night, to maybe who they contacted, maybe any routes that they took home, that would be important for the investigation.
Xana and Ethan stabbed to death less than a block away at Xana's home, along with Kaylee Gonzalez and Madison Mogan, who were found on the top floor. 2 roommates survived, along with Kaylee's dog, seen in this TikTok video. Authorities now say the dog was found inside the home, but in a separate room from the victims.
How important is the behavior of the dog in your investigation?
We don't believe that there was any appearance of forced entry to the home. And as well, at this time, we have not determined if the dog was inside the residence during the murders or not. What we do know is that the dog was inside when officers arrived. The dog did not appear to have any evidence on it.
Police also addressing information about the victim's manner of death after Kaylee's father said he learned his daughter's wounds were much more severe than her friends, fearing Kaylee was the target.
Please don't be my child, that's the target.
Police telling ABC News they have not provided the family with that information.
Authorities also telling me they're not attempting to refute what the family is saying. Ultimately, they want to protect the integrity of this investigation. But as time marches on, Steve tells us he's been approached by a private investigator to help solve this case.
Into our newsroom here at 4, a University of Tennessee fraternity suspended for repeated code violations. Sigma Phi Epsilon cannot operate, listen to this, until spring 2027. Some of those rules broken involve alcohol-related conduct, drugs and drug paraphernalia, and breaking the restrictions they were already on after facing disciplinary
on campus and in town, paid for with cash and financial apps including Venmo and PayPal. Neither company charged with wrongdoing. 21 people are charged, all in their 20s and nearly all from North Carolina, except for the primary supplier who's from California. He's pleaded guilty. The total proceeds, at least $1.5 million. But the U.S. Attorney says this is about more than this drug ring. It's about a drug culture on campus.
I call on university administrators, I call on the national chapters of these fraternities. Do something, take a stand.
All 3 universities say they are cooperating with law enforcement. The chancellor of UNC says he's extremely disappointed, promising the university will enforce the student conduct code. A spokesman for Duke saying the university takes these allegations seriously, promising they'll be dealt with through our disciplinary process. Appalachian State says it's committed to providing a safe campus. A national spokesman for one of the fraternities, Phi Gamma Delta, which was not charged, called the allegations disheartening. Such conduct, he said, will not be tolerated. on campus and in town, paid for with cash and financial apps including Venmo and PayPal. Neither company charged with wrongdoing.
A massive college drug ring in North Carolina, one that was pumping cocaine, LSD, and other dangerous narcotics onto the campuses at Duke, UNC Chapel Hill, and Appalachian State. Investigators say they arrested more than 20 what they called hardened drug dealers. Many of them current or former students who were operating out of fraternity houses. Most of them, they tell us, were at UNC. They apparently used encrypted cell phone apps to communicate, and Venmo and PayPal and the like to rake in more than $1 million in drug money. Here's CNBC's Scott Cohn.
To hear federal authorities tell it, the drug ring offered a supermarket of illegal substances.
Thousands of pounds of marijuana over the course of several years. Hundreds of kilos of cocaine, LSD, Molly or MDMA, mushrooms, steroids.
At 3 of North Carolina's largest universities. But beyond the sheer size of the operation, prosecutors say it was shockingly brazen. The drugs openly for sale inside fraternity houses, as well as on campus and in town, paid for with cash and financial apps including Venmo and PayPal. Neither company charged with wrongdoing. 21 people are charged, all in their 20s and nearly all from North Carolina, except for the primary supplier who's from California. He's pleaded guilty. The total $1 million. But the U.S. Attorney says this is about more than this drug ring. It's about a drug culture on campus.
Cornell University has suspended all fraternity parties and social events after at least 4 students reported being drugged and 1 described being sexually assaulted at a fraternity-affiliated off-campus house. Now, the name of the fraternity was not released, but officials say there will be no parties allowed until school staff members and student leaders are confident they can occur safely.
This fraternity is very special to me. The camaraderie's all there. The brotherhood's all there.
A year after the killings on Kings Road, the Sigma Chi fraternity brothers at the University of Idaho are sharing their memories about Ethan Chapin.
The 4 students we talked to are from Eagle, Meridian, and Grangeville, Idaho. Our Maggie O'Mara went to the Sigma Chi house and heard about their love for Ethan and how they're trying to heal together.
Here at the Sigma Chi house at the University of Idaho, memories of Ethan Chapin are everywhere.
I have never met someone who's so universally loved. Everyone liked him. He was just the happiest person to be around. Everyone wanted to be around him.
Losing Ethan in such a tragic way has impacted each of these students. The feelings and the emotions are still fresh.
Right after that happened, it was a madhouse up in Moscow. There's news people everywhere, and I don't know, it was just no one knew what was going on, really, because stuff like that doesn't really happen in a town like this. But I think as a house, we all banded together. It was hard because a lot of people went home. I felt way better when I was up here with my brothers rather than being at home. I needed to be around these guys, talking about what I was feeling, talking about E. Maybe we want to talk about memories with E.
All of us knew that no one was going to look down on them for sharing their emotions or, anything like that.
How we handled that as a fraternity, it wasn't one person handling the situation. We handled it as a brotherhood, and I think that really helped us get through.
They each shared happy memories of Ethan.
It's the coolest guy you'll ever meet. That's about it right there.
He was a really big, funny, happy guy.
When someone would walk in the room, not just me, anybody, he would welcome you into the room.
He was always very kind in everything that he did.
He always would call me Gussie Gus in his little raspy voice.
Emotionally, always there for people.
One of my favorite memories with him was my apartment flooded one night after a big party because there was all sorts of plumbing problems with it. It's an old house. Went over to Xana's and I was hanging out with the 2 of them and we just talked for hours and hours. And Xana made us grilled cheese sandwiches and Ethan and I are just sitting there talking. So that's one of my most cherished memories with him. I think back to that night a lot and I try to focus on nights like that rather than the sad ones when it comes to E.
The brothers lost Ethan's girlfriend Xana Kernodle that terrible night too.
Him and Xana were just the most perfect couple you could imagine.
That's just how she was. She was just able to come over here and hang out with all the dudes and it was oh, hey, what's up, Xana? He said that Ethan was like the most universally loved person on campus. I think Xana was right up there with Ethan. Like, everyone loved Xana, everyone loved Ethan. Both of them were just flourishing for sure.
Hunter Chapin, Ethan's brother, is also a member of this house.
It was kind of tough because it was a subject that he didn't want to talk about for a while. Just kind of letting him know that we are there if he ever does want to talk. Just kind of knowing that that's open for him if he ever does need a release to let his emotions out to us.
When we were there, the first Sigma Chi Ethan Chapin Memorial Scholarship was awarded to Hunter. The Chapin family was there, his mom, his dad, his sister Maisie. And there was a standing ovation.
I think it obviously means a lot going to Hunter. You know, we're talking all about E right now, but Hunter's right there with him. You know, like they're very, very similar people, especially with what Hunter's going through, obviously, and then the way he's come out on the other end, like the person he is now. Like personally, I don't think I could be not okay. The word isn't okay, but strong. Be that strong in a situation.